Hi, this is Brooks Flanagan, and we're joined today by Josh Wasav. Josh is a NetSuite expert who has helped over 100 companies implement NetSuite from startups to Fortune 1000 companies. We are here today to talk about NetSuite's real-time reporting and how it drives faster and more proactive decision making. We've helped our NetSuite customers and deploy some very effective strategies that have created a huge impact on increasing visibility with the business, which leads to faster and smarter decisions, resulting in expanding businesses even with everything going on in 2020. Josh, can you tell us a little more about these best practices and what you've seen our leading customers deploy in NetSuite?
Sure. So reporting is key to any business. And some of the best practices that we see are when our companies have a data-driven culture and use reports objectively. So that way the decisions are all driven objectively based on the numbers and not based on emotions. So what we know based on research is that year over year, it's proven at companies that run their business using analytics and data will on average have 20% higher profit margins than those who do not. So that's a big deviation and a big increase in profitability from those companies who do rely on these things and those who don't. So there's a couple key ways that NetSuite has really set up customers for success or companies for success from a reporting perspective. And that's kind of what I want to show you is how they've thoughtfully said, hey, here's some things we can do and provide in terms of features so that way we can better operate and manage the business and have people be accountable. So I want to talk about NetSuite's different reporting functionalities. We have dashboards, we have reports, we have saved searches, and we have a newer thing called workbooks. So there's four things that NetSuite's built to allow us to, again, make better data-driven decisions and be more objective. So let's start here on the dashboard. So when we design dashboards and help customers with dashboards, we subscribe to something called the three M's: measure, monitor, and manage. So anytime you set up a dashboard, it's all about giving the appropriate person, in this case, you can see I'm logged in as the CFO, giving the appropriate person the ability to measure whatever their job or their job description is tied to. So let's say the CFO is very concerned with accounts receivable. So I can measure my invoices overdue, right, or my accounts receivable balance, things like that. Then I need the ability to um, ultimately monitor these, right? So my measure may be my AR balance, invoice overdue, but how do I want to monitor this? Do I want a reminder here that says I have 382 invoices overdue, that has some conditional formatting, it's a real-time counter. I can also click on this and drill into the number of invoices and see them. Or do I prefer a KPI meter where it can actually tell me my dollar balance of receivables today, threshold, same day last month? I prefer a traditional table where I can see it in a comparative periods. So accordingly, NetSuite says, how do you need to see this visually in order to understand it quicker, better, and be able to do the third M, which is manage. Manage your day-to-day functions so that way you can control and be accountable for what measures you're being held accountable to. So what's nice is we have those options and we need this to be efficient and effective. So if I respond best to seeing the count of invoices overdue, I need that at my fingertips and the ability to click on it. So that's a real-time counter that'll go up and down that 382. And then when I open the report, I can see the individual invoices that make that up. Okay. So that's the first thing. And what NetSuite's done here is they have things like reminders, great place to start your day. This is all different analytics that I'm focused on. Visuals like a meter, and then of course traditional tables. Additionally, NetSuite has this concept of reports and searches. So if I go into reports overview here, it'll show us this a little bit more. So the way NetSuite has set up their reports and searches is NetSuite basically said, for any module you've turned on inside me, and you can see here a list of different modules, I will provide pre-built reports to give you a head start. Now, some of these reports might get you 100% of the way there. Some of these reports might get you 60% of the way there. They're all customizable, but at least you have value on day one by having the ability to start with something. So for example, I have reports around financial reporting, sales reporting, purchases, demand planning, customers, forecast, etc. So within these reports, I can expand these sections and see different types of reports that come out of the box. I can always build new reports or searches. So to see an example, I pulled up two reports that we can look at. One, just going back to that idea of looking at receivables, here's an AR aging. So I can see my different customers. I can see customer project or sub-customer relationship. I could always control aging options and so forth and so on. But net, the thing that I care most about this report is, again, that I can use bits and pieces on my dashboard. I can set alerts and alarms. And when I refresh it, it's all real time. Another powerful report is our inventory snapshot. So here I can start to see things like my preferred stock levels by location, on hand, on order, committed, to order, in transit, reorder point, again, all by location, looking at my different items. And again, this is a real-time counter as well. So as these on order items get received, my on hand quantities go up. So two strategic reports, all in real time, and again, ability to customize them as well. Third, NetSuite's provided the ability to run what's called a saved search. So a saved search is a query of the data. It's for when you have a question. So in this case, you can almost see the question in my title. I want to know what my sales from customers in California were. So all I've done is opened up a brand new saved search that pulls transactions. And this screen will load. So the only things I've done to the screen is I said, show me the type of transaction that's an invoice, because again, we're focused on sales. And I want to know really the sales that were shipped to the state of California. So my filters here are two. Again, narrowing down my data because it's a query to answer a business question. And in my results column here, I can choose what fields I'd like to see to answer the business question and give me the right amount of information. And this will come out looking like an Excel spreadsheet with rows and columns. And of course, there's other things I can do to the data like conditional formatting and highlighting and so forth and so on. But if I run this report, or this search rather, what you'll see is I'll have a list of all my sales from customers in California. Now I could put more filters on this. I could put date ranges and so forth and so on. But net, I can see that these are the different transactions. Here's an invoice to B Sharp Music for $83,000. And I have 1,300 and change transactions, transaction lines to the state of California. And then finally, a newer feature that NetSuite's been building is their workbooks. And this is really, to me, it's pivot tables. It's all about pivot tables. So here what I can do is, similar to Save Searches, look at things like my transactions and use data points from my transaction table to create things like pivot tables or regular tables or charts. So net, what NetSuite says is we know analytics, the difference between companies that use analytics to measure, monitor, and manage their results, creates accountability, which drives a 20% on average higher profit margins than those who don't. So NetSuite's response was providing things here like dashboards, providing pre-built reports, and allowing you to customize them or create your own, giving you the ability to query your data, as well as giving you the ability to build pivot tables with your data in NetSuite as well.
Great. And how does NetSuite drive faster and more proactive decision making?
Sure. So what NetSuite did, which was strategic and maybe a hair different than traditional ERP systems, is they built everything on one platform. So all the modules, all the functionality is all in one platform. So the data across this platform is real time. So it's not like I'm waiting for an integration to fire off to send data. It's not like I'm waiting for a batch to load from the night, the day before overnight or anything like that to get me my data. Anything I'm doing within NetSuite is going to be real time across it. And what I tell people is think of NetSuite as a mansion. So if NetSuite's a 50-room mansion and you want to um, purchase NetSuite, you're essentially renting a room. So you can choose to rent one room or two rooms or three rooms or however many you need, but you're only paying for the rooms you need. But this mansion has each room is a different module. So it's all pre-built, it's all wired, it's all, one structure. It's just a matter of how much do you want to use of it, and you only pay for that accordingly. But because we're, again, all under one roof, it's got that real-time data, and that's pretty unique for an ERP system compared to a lot of these other systems that have grown through acquisitions and bolt-ons. Or aren't cloud-based and could have different pieces that use batch loading processes, et cetera.
Okay. And why is real-time reporting even more relevant in 2021?
Sure. So, talking to our customers going through the pandemic and going through, the whole economy right now, what we're seeing is very disparate results. So we have some customers who are really monitoring something like accounts receivable, right? They really want to see what's going on. They need those real-time results to understand what's happening all throughout the day as they're making sure they're getting paid and things are going in the right direction for them from a cash flow perspective. Other customers have seen large growth spurts, and they need to be able to real-time monitor things like inventory, right? Going back to that inventory report to make sure there's no back orders or that they know what their sales reps can promise. And it's been an unfair, disparate amount of results across industries, but net, without the real-time reports, without the real-time numbers, people can't make decisions or pivot in the middle of their day to focus on more important things um, without that. So they lose time, which costs money, of course, if they don't have that data at their fingertips.
Thanks so much, Josh. Are there any final thoughts or ideas you'd like to leave us with?
I think the most important thing with reporting is understanding for companies, where are you today? What are the key reports that people need? What are the key metrics people are looking at? What's the frequency of that? What are the different data sources? And documenting that and ultimately coming up with that reporting library. And then as you think about that, also think about what are the things we're not looking at or we should be looking at. And some of that can come internally through conversations. Some of that can come from research, and some of that can come from talking to companies like us who can help you with that. So then basically what you have is this reporting library of a current and future state. And then when you're looking to purchase NetSuite, where strategic is to start to lay it out and say, where in NetSuite will I go and get these things? Let me make sure I have the certain things on day one versus day 30 and so forth and so on. So that way I have that value when I go live. And that way my people can keep running the business the way they should, as well as with the new reporting, they'll be able to do the way that we should have been for a while ago. So
Thanks so much, Josh. If you'd like to find out more, please contact Michael Manter.